What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy and I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 12 Friday the 13th movies. I've recently re-reviewed all of the movies in this franchise, and so today I thought I'd go ahead and do my ranking for all of the movies. I've also done a few other Friday the 13th rankings after I had reviewed all the movies as well, so if you want to check those out, I did my ranking of the final girls, the Jason actors, and talked about my favorite kills from each movie in the franchise as well. So if you want to see those, also feel free to check those out. But I'm going to go ahead and get going with this ranking. Coming in at number 12 is Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. This is easily my least favorite movie in the franchise. It's always been the one movie in the franchise that I just really don't like, and every time I watch it I like it a little bit less and everything. It's not really anything to do with Jason. I think Roy was fine and everything, but the kills were just really butchered, and the characters weren't really that memorable, and some of the ones that were memorable were memorable for being annoying and stuff, like the redneck and stuff. They got on my nerves really bad. I did like Reggie the Reckless, and I think it was his brother or uncle or something. I liked them two characters, but really they're the only characters in this movie that I really liked, and I'm not a really big fan of this movie and everything, so it's easily my least favorite. So Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning is number 12, and number 11 is Freddy vs. Jason. I actually really like this movie a lot and everything, but when I'm ranking the Jason movies, this movie is definitely not a very good Jason movie. I almost put it at the bottom because of the way they butchered Jason in this movie. Like that, they make him scared of water. He's really slow moving and everything. He's not very intimidating at all, and like he's just really out of character, and like they just, I don't like what they did with him in this movie. I don't mind that he got beat by Freddy in the dream world and stuff. That part doesn't really bother me, but he shouldn't have been the way he was in this movie and everything. I will say there are some good moments, so like the big final fight with him and Freddy at the end was pretty good and stuff, but I just don't like how they made Jason out to be like a hero and stuff, and like they made Freddy the villain, which is good. I mean, Freddy deserved to be made a villain because he is a villain and everything, but they should have made Jason a villain too and not try to make him out to be like he's some kind of hero and stuff. And making him scared of water and stuff is totally against his character. And like at the end when Laurie cuts Freddy's head off with the machete and stuff, right after Jason had put Freddy's arm through his chest, if that was the real Jason, he would have killed Laurie and Will right after killing them, and not just jump back into the water to die or fall asleep or whatever they did with it. I just don't like what they did with Jason in this movie, so it's easily my least favorite, though, out of the movies that Jason is one of the main killers in and everything. So Freddy vs. Jason is number 11, and number 10 is Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. So this movie is one that most people consider to be the worst of the franchise, and I get it and stuff. Like when I used to love this movie as a kid when I saw it. I only watched it like once or twice as a kid, so I loved it back then, and every time I rewatch it as an adult I like it a little bit less, and it's really dropped on my ranking. I think last time I did my ranking, this movie was a little bit more towards the middle of the ranking, but it dropped this time because it's really kind of hard to get through. It's really slow paced. The kills are not very good because the MPAA once again messed with them and everything. None of the characters are really likable. Even the final girl, Rennie, isn't really all that that likable. There's only really one good kill in here, and it's when he punches Julius's head off. That kill was awesome, but aside from that, this just isn't one of those movies that I really liked very much in the franchise, and it's easily one of my least favorites. So, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan is number 10, and number 9 is Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. This movie's actually moved up a little bit because it used to be my second least favorite in the franchise, but every time I've rewatched it here in recent years, I've actually started to like it a little bit more. I love like the big fight between Tina and Jason at the end. I think it's really great. Even though I don't really like Tina, I think she's kind of annoying and whiny and stuff. I will say that their fight scene is really good and everything, and that's really about the only big positive I can say about this movie. It just isn't one of my favorites. The kills are pretty neutered and stuff, although we do get the iconic sleeping bag kill, which I will admit is a really great kill, when Jason just takes her in the sleeping bag and slams her against a tree. I can't deny that was a pretty good kill, but aside from that, there weren't very many good kills. Most of the characters are really unlikable, kind of like in Part 5 and stuff, so it just wasn't really one that I really enjoyed and everything. So, but I do think it's okay, and it does get a little bit better as time goes on. The more I watch it, I'm starting to warm up to it a little bit more. It's one of those movies that it's not one that I love, but I can enjoy it sometimes if I'm in the right mood. But yeah, so Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood is number 9, and number 8 is Jason Goes to Hell. This one I think is really underrated. A lot of people always talk about how bad this movie is and everything because it doesn't really feel like it fits into the franchise and stuff, and like Jason is swapping bodies throughout the whole movie, so we don't really see him in his normal form and everything. But I actually kind of like that. I like that they did something different and everything, and we got introduced to Creighton Duke, who was a really great character. I'd actually love to see some kind of spin-off or something where we could like maybe see his interaction with Jason and stuff, where when Jason killed his wife or whatever. I think that'd be kind of an interesting story to see and everything. But this is a fun movie that if it wasn't a Friday the 13th movie, I think a lot of people would love a lot more than they do. It doesn't really deserve the hate it gets and everything, because it is really entertaining. It's got some brutal kills, especially the one in the tent when he takes the pole and shoves it through the girl and cuts her like she's a hot dog or something. But I love this movie, so yeah. It's not one of the best in the franchise for sure, but it's still a lot more fun than a lot of people say it is, and pretty much from this one up, I enjoy all these movies quite a bit and everything. So Jason Goes to Hell is number 8, and number 7 is the remake from 2009. I really like this one quite a bit. Every time I rewatch it, I like it a little bit more. When it first came out and stuff, I was super disappointed in it because I was so hyped for it and everything. But every time I rewatch this movie, like with some of the other ones, I like it a little bit more and everything. The characters are better written in this movie than they are most of the movies and everything. I like most of the characters in here, especially like Clay. I think he was really good, and Whitney's a pretty good final girl, and then you got like characters that are really annoying, like Trent. He's absolutely terrible. And there's other characters in here I like Chewie and Jenna. They were likable characters too. So you got some pretty good characters in here. A little bit of self-referential humor in here as well. Not a lot, and some of it kind of lands, some of it doesn't. But it's still a fun movie and everything. So Friday the 13th is number 7, and number 6 is Friday the 13th Part 2. This is a really good sequel to the first movie, and it was an okay introduction to Jason, although I'm not really a big fan of the baghead Jason and stuff. But this movie did have some characters that I really like and stuff in here, and to me the characters were a lot better in this one. They were more memorable and stuff, and everything, especially Vicky. She was just a really lovable character and everything. I really liked her quite a bit, but also thought that Jenny was a really great final girl, easily one of the best final girls in the franchise. And I think I actually had her at number 1 on my ranking. I liked her that much. I hate that we get Alice in here for a few minutes at the beginning just to have her killed off. I kind of wish they would have brought her back maybe in one of the sequels, kind of like they did with Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Maybe brought her back in one of the later sequels and had her go up against Jason and get killed that way or something, but it is what it is. I think this movie is really entertaining, though. The kills aren't as good, though, because the MPA really messed up the kills and stuff, but if you can find the unrated footage or whatever, one of my friends, Drew from Hayes, and Devon Graham had sent me a link to it. It was really awesome, so if you can find that, it's definitely worth checking out. But the kills in here are fine, I guess. I mean, but I'd rather the unedited ones for sure. But this is a fun movie and everything. It's just not one of my very most favorites either. It's just kind of a middle of the road Friday movie for me, but it's definitely not a bad one by any means. And so Friday the 13th Part 2 is number 6. Number 5 is Jason X. This is another one that a lot of people either love it or hate it, and I fall into that camp of people who love it, because this was one that I grew up with. I watched it all the time as a kid when it first came out on video. It was one of the few Jason movies I actually had on video, so I was able to watch it over and over again and stuff, and I just absolutely love this movie. And I would think that after all these years I would probably be tired of it and stuff, but every time I watch it I always really enjoy it. Yeah, the special effects don't hold up very well and stuff, but we do get a lot of really fun moments and stuff, like the little meta moment when he's in that little alternate reality world where he's seeing Camp Crystal Lake, and the girls are making the jokes, and he references his sleeping bag kill and stuff. And Uber Jason is just really awesome, and I feel like this is the best performance we got out of Kane Hodder as Jason personally. I just love this movie and everything. So it's balls to the walls crazy, and doesn't really make any sense in continuity or anything like that, but as a standalone Friday the 13th movie, it's a lot of fun and everything. So Jason X is number 5, and number 4 is Friday the 13th from 1980, the original movie, the one that started it all. I absolutely love Friday the 13th. It's been one of my favorites ever since I was a kid. Like with Jason X, this is the other one that I had the most access to and everything. I've had tons of copies of it on DVD and video and stuff, so I've always really enjoyed this one, and I always enjoy revisiting it. I remember the first time I saw it, I was completely blown away that Jason wasn't the killer and everything, because I had heard of the Friday the 13th franchise and knew who Jason was, but he wasn't the killer in this. It was his mom, and so I always was just really shocked by that as a kid. But I love this movie. I think it's a really fun whodunit and everything, and it still holds up really well. Great special effects from Tom Savini, and a lot of really great kills in here, and the characters aren't really all that great, although Alice is a really good final girl, but the rest of the characters are kind of just there to be killed off and everything. But it's still a fun time to me, and I enjoy this movie for what they were trying to do with it. So Friday the 13th is number 4, and number 3 is Friday the 13th, the final chapter, also known as Friday the 13th Part 4. So this is one of the most popular movies in the franchise. In fact, I know most people that I know actually say this is their favorite, and I can completely understand why. Tom Savini returned to do the makeup effects, and they just look absolutely awesome in this movie. They did a really great job with that, and this has a really great cast of characters. Like almost all the characters in here are really likable and are ones that you really care about, especially Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman, and his sister Trish. They're both really likable characters and everything, but also you get the guy that's looking for his sister who was killed in part 2, I believe, and Crispin Glover and his friend, the twins, and there's just so many great characters in this movie. They're all really likable, and we get some really great kills in here that just totally are really awesome and everything. Like the MPAA didn't butcher this movie near as bad as they did some of the other ones and everything. They kind of took a little bit of a step back and everything. It still does cut away a lot on certain kills, but you still get some really good ones and stuff. And like I said, Tom Savini's makeup effects and stuff in this one are really great, and it's just a really, really fun movie and everything. So Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is number 3, and number 2 is Friday the 13th Part 3. This is one of those that I know a lot of people love it and stuff, but I've always liked this one quite a bit ever since I was a kid and everything. This was one that I used to watch all the time and everything. I had it recorded on a VHS tape, and I wore that tape out. It was actually on the same. My very first copy that I had recorded was on the same tape as the first one, because for some reason they played 1 and 3 on HBO, and my dad recorded it for me, them both for me, so I watched them both over and over again and stuff, because they were ones that I had access to, along with Jason X, which was the one that I had actually bought at a video store and stuff. But I love Friday the 13th Part 3. It's just a really, really fun movie and everything. It does have some really wonky special effects and stuff because of the 3D and stuff, and I know a lot of people always complain about it. I don't really complain about it as much because I know what they were trying to do with it, and you hear anybody talk about the movie, they talk about how bad it is, so there's no point in wasting my breath on it. But and it doesn't really run the movie for me like it does some people and everything. I think it kind of adds to the cheesiness and fun of it, and there are characters in here that I really like, especially Shelley, and I liked Vera too, and some of the other characters in here, and it's a really fun movie. And the iconic scene when Jason walks out of that barn with the mask and he shoots the spear gun and stuff into Vera's eye. It's just really great scene and everything. Like I said, it is cheesy and stuff, but it's a lot of fun, and it's easily one of my favorites in the franchise. So Friday the 13th Part 3 is number 2, and my number 1 favorite movie in the Friday the 13th franchise is Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Anybody who knows me probably wouldn't be very surprised on this, because I absolutely love Jason Lives, and I've talked about it I don't know how many times, like how much this is my favorite movie in the franchise. It's just really, really entertaining and stuff. I love the meta humor that they added to this and everything, and they keep Jason the same, like he's still intimidating and stuff, but all the characters around him it kind of seem like they're aware that they're in a horror movie, and it just works perfectly. Like before Scream did it, before Wes Craven's New Nightmare did it, this movie did it, and to me it just works perfectly, and I absolutely love this movie. It's always been one of my favorites in the franchise, and over the last few times I've watched it, I've said that this is my favorite. And a lot of times if I'm only watching one movie in the franchise, because sometimes like on Friday the 13th I'll just watch one movie and stuff, this is usually the one that I go to. Every now and then I'll go to other ones like the first one, or maybe Jason X, but most of the time if I'm going to watch a Friday the 13th movie on Friday the 13th, 9 times out of 10 this is the one that I always go to. I just absolutely love it. So Jason Lives is easily my favorite movie in the franchise. So yeah. And before I go and stuff, I thought I'd go ahead and compare my ranking from when I did this ranking a couple years ago when I reviewed and ranked them, because it has changed a lot and everything. So I thought I'd do it and see which ones are different and stuff. Last time I did my ranking, it was like in 2019, somewhere in the summer of that year, and my number one was still Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. My number two was Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, which has dropped down to number 3. My number 3 was Friday the 13th Part 3, which moved up to number 2. My 4 was Friday the 13th from 1980, which is still the same. 5 is still Jason X, stayed the same. 6 is Friday the 13th Part 2, stayed the same. 7 was Jason Goes to Hell, so it dropped to number 8. The Friday the 13th remake moved up to number 7, and instead of being number 8. And then for my number 9 was Jason Takes Manhattan. It moved down to number 10. And then Part 7, The New Blood, moved up to number 9. It was originally 11 on this ranking, and Freddy vs. Jason moved down to number 11. And then Friday the 13th Part 5 stayed the same. So this ranking has changed a lot this time around. So I thought that was kind of interesting and stuff. Like my Child's Play ranking kind of pretty much stayed the same for the most part, with a couple of exceptions with a couple of the movies maybe. But this one, it's kind of crazy how much it's changed and stuff and everything. I wonder if it'll stay the same next time I rewatch them. I probably won't do another ranking and stuff again, more than likely, unless it just changes really bad, or if we get a new movie in the franchise. But which hopefully we will eventually, if they'll ever settle that lawsuit. But anyway, let me know in the comments how you would rank these movies, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you don't want to do your full ranking of them, since there's 12 movies, I know that's a lot to try to figure out and stuff, just tell me your favorites and least favorites and everything. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.
Yeah!